following film, we're going to be learning a little bit more about what it means to be a carnivore. I've got nutritionist Frankie with me, who's going to be telling us a little bit more about some of the benefits.
You excited?
Yeah.
Are you? On my mountain bike.
Yeah, we're just the people you go for. We go for you, are Simon.
Yeah.
Today I'm meeting Frankie, who, having just completed the theory element of her PDS1, is joining me for some training. So unlike the bolt action, this is a single shot. Okay, so we're going to load one in here, all right, and then we close it like that.
Yeah.
Right? A bit like a shotgun. I don't know if you've ever shot with a shotgun before.
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Many years ago.
simple. So to open it, you just push that across.
And open.
And opens.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'd load one in here.
Yeah.
Close it. Now to fire, all you need to do, nice straight trigger finger, remember?
Yeah.
Push that forward. And that cocks the rifle.
Yeah.
And takes the safety catch off at the same time. It's about the right height there. Okay. Try and keep it in the back and move the sticks rather than lifting the rifle out. Good. You see if you can find that target again. Do you know where that is?
I have no idea.
In the red dot. Absolutely brilliant. Spot on. You couldn't be more accurate. You are literally in the red dot. Absolutely brilliant. Really good. Really good shooting. Great shot. Another really good shot. Well done. Okay, so there's your first shot. First shot of the day. That's a pretty good one, Frankie, isn't it?
Very, very pleased with that. Yeah.
Yeah, well done. And there's your second shot of the day.
Okay.
So, as I say, realistically, I mean, the kill zone on the deer is going to be something in that sort of region. So you're well within the kill zone of most species of deer. So really well done. Good shooting with that.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy with that.
Good. She proves to be a crack shot, so we head out to look for deer. But after an initial search, there's no luck. So I asked Frankie more about her motivations behind learning to hunt. Okay, so today I'm here with Frankie. Frankie, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Now, there's a few really interesting things about Frankie, and one of those things, I believe, is that you're a nutritionist.
That's right.
And secondly, you're pregnant, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yes, 30 weeks.
And has it been an easy pregnancy, I hope?
It has. It's been a beautiful ride. I'm starting to sort of realise that I should probably take it easy, and everyone around me is asking me to slow down. But I maybe don't view pregnancy or anything else that I'm sure we'll talk about today.
Yeah. Well, look, congratulations. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And unusually, I think, as a pregnant lady, you've decided that, and as a nutritionist, that you've decided that actually eating meat and a carnivore diet is very important to your health and your pregnancy.
It is, and I think that's why I am in quite a small box of people.
Yeah.
There's quite a small selection of us that view nutrition in this way, so I am seen as quite unconventional, but it overlaps really nicely with hunting and why I'm pursuing this, really. So.
And you found that from your studies as a nutritionist, you found that a carnivore diet is overall better than people might imagine, or that would have us believe. You feel that it's better for our general health and well-being, do you?
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
And that's a great question, because it's still, as I say, seen as so unconventional in today's world. We hear all of these, what I view as scare tactics from government and media and health professionals of every kind, telling us about high cholesterol and, you know, aren't you going to die of cancer or heart disease if you eat red meat, and all of these things. But it's incredibly backwards, and I could spend hours unpicking the unpicking the so-called evidence behind that. But When you put it in its simplest form and really practice this as a nutritional plan and go about things much as our ancestors did, you reap the benefits so quickly. So I like people to be their own experiment. It's not dangerous. And
this, your thoughts about being a carnivore and eating more meat, that's led you on a journey to get involved with hunting.
Yeah.
And that's really why we find you here today, isn't it, I think? Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's another huge passion of mine, right back from starting my own nutritional journey. I very quickly realised that there is this overview of the health and wellness world, whatever you want to call it, that it's only for the affluent and only the rich can afford to eat well and be healthy. And it's that stigma has really got to be broken. And I can do that most effectively if I just practice what I preach in its rawest form. And that is why I'm doing this, because not only do I believe in including venison and other red meats in my diet, but making it sustainable for my family and showing other people how they can do that.
And Frankie, you know, as far as red meats go, I mean, as a deer hunter, I like to think that venison is perhaps one of the better forms of red meat that you can eat. I'm told, you know, it's low in cholesterol. Whether that's important or not, I don't know. Low in calories, and of course, we make the argument for it being sustainable and wild. I mean, what are your thoughts as to how venison stacks up as a red meat in comparison to, say, beef and lamb and so forth?
So, in my view, it is one of the most superior meats, not because it's leaner. Lots of people do, again, jump on that low fat is best. But no, it's simply because it is one of the most ancestrally appropriate, certainly for us here in the UK and other parts of the world where deer would have been hunted.
And you say ancestrally appropriate, that's a great phrase, but effectively what you're saying is that it's what we were meant to eat, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what our ancestors would have eaten, is that right?
Absolutely, and in a nose to tail fashion. They would have, you know, it's only very recently that people have stopped to utilise all parts of the animal and know how to do that in the whole scheme of things, you know. And it's become this unusual habit that people chuck away certain parts of the animal and just keep, you know, the bits that we now see as most beneficial.
And tell me whether I get this right or not. As a diet, I would eat a lot of meat and I would supplement that with vegetables. So a steak with a vegetable side would be kind of the type of diet that I would enjoy and I think my body would thrive on. So less of the carbs. But what is your feeling about carbs? And vegetables presumably are also important, are they?
I don't see vegetables as important or necessary. I see vegetables as the difference between somebody maybe being able to do something for a few months as opposed to the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Any plant food is what I consider a starvation food. It's there if we really need it, and we have to try and in the best way possible draw from those foods, but they're unnecessary. We can get absolutely everything that we need from meat, eggs, fish, all of the animals.
And fats as well, Frankie.
Absolutely, fats are so important, and again, they've been demonised for years. And you know, going back to venison, it is a leaner cut of meat, but you hopefully will be able to obtain those important animal fats from other cuts of meat. And certainly there is a fat content to venison. Some of the longest living nations in the world have high cholesterol. And the very study that
It's completely counterintuitive, isn't it?
It is.
To what
is.
we expect and what we're told, really.
And I think if we do this properly, if we all got back to harvesting our own meats, or we supported at the very least our local farmer, this would become a much more sustainable way of living.
And presumably, you know, you've come to hunting because, you know, it's all very well to say we want to eat more meat, but I think what hunting allows you to do is it allows you to source meats, doesn't it? A good quality, appropriate food source that's going to be suitable for carnivores, but something that is sustainable and something that in actual fact is good for our environment, because we need to eat more deer because they're wrecking the countryside.
Yeah.
So in actual fact that fits in really nicely, doesn't it?
It does, and actually that's part of what I loved about doing the PDS1 is you put all this information so well together for someone embarking on this who, you know, may or may not be someone like me who's just doing it for feeding their family, but everything comes together so you can learn about actually why is this sustainable, why is this better for our environment, why is this better for the animal. And I have learned so much about, you know, the deer population and why these increased numbers have done such damage to our environment, but the deer themselves as well. And like I said to you, it's so clear, even on my average school run, what deer numbers are really, what effect they're having.
Yeah.
And it's horrible passing a deer that's been...
Well, you know, I'm really pleased to hear you say that. I would be. I mean, it's what we're trying to promote, but it seems to me what you're saying is that it cements really nicely your ideals as being a sort of a carnivore person that has that as their main diet. So it cements that carnivore attitude with something and a pursuit that also helps the environment. So those two things blend really nicely, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. And there's so many factors that kind of make this come together. But I'm all about creating a lifestyle with somebody that has pillars, you know, pillars of health. And lots of people talk about this, but I don't think it's food alone. I think that actually when we do look at our ancestors, they were moving more, they were eating in a more condensed window, so they were eating less hours of the day. We now eat spread over maybe 15 hours on average.
Yeah.
They were utilising the light of the sun, you know, and they did things that really did feed their bodies and feed their health, and so much of what we're doing today is robbing from our health. So if we can get back to these practices, it can do so much for us, whether that's even, you know, just moving around the woodland. It might be difficult, like we're experiencing today. It's difficult to hunt, but you're gaining so much.
Burning calories at the same
you
time.
You are, you're moving, and your body needs movement. It needs all of these things. So, yeah.
So today you've completed the theory part of your PDS1, you mentioned. Now we've done a few shots on the range as well, and you're shooting very well, if I may say so. Well done with that. No, genuinely, really, absolutely spot on.
Thank you.
So some really, really good shots there on the target. We've had a wander around, no luck so far. So we're going to set out again now. We're going to head out again now, folks, I think. And it's starting to get a little bit more later in the evening. So hopefully the deer will start appearing from the undergrowth, and we'll manage to get you a bit of venison to take home with you.
That would be wonderful.
Frankie,
Thank
thanks
you.
again.
Pleasure.
So that's a loaded rifle, okay? To fire, it will just be forward to go. There's reason we put high seats on somewhere like this, because you can imagine the deer cross between one bit of block woodland and another, and you've got a clear ride there of good 300 metres or so. We get a few glimpses of deer, but it's proving hard work. when we do spot them, they're out of season.
So go around the outside.
Yeah, it's possible. So you can hear them just doing exactly as we said, sitting up in the wood. But the amount of tracks coming through here.
Yeah, look at that.
Here. So they'll use that as a route into the wood all the time, but it's so thick in there, you never stand a chance, which is why you've got to wait for them to come out onto the lawn where you can see them really. We move on and give it one last go in another block of forestry.
That's what I want. Kind of use the speed. Perfect. Sling it over your shoulder.
Good to go.
Nice.
Okay.
One good.
Regrettably, as afternoon turns to evening, there's no luck.
So no luck with Peter the other day, but he's been kind enough to provide me with this beautiful venison that he shot just a few days prior. Now you're all probably wondering what a carnivore approach to nutrition really is. And the word carnivore is simply used to describe a nutritional approach that utilises animal products only. Things like these beautiful cuts of meat, fish, eggs, good quality dairy, and animal fats like butter, lard, tallow, and ghee. We're living in a world that encourages the opposite of this way of eating. In fact, government, media, and even health professionals are encouraging a diet that is high in things like whole grains and carbohydrates and very, very low in animal fat and protein. And unfortunately, we're living in a world which is dealing with higher numbers than ever before when it comes to conditions like heart disease, diabetes, multiple forms of cancer, mental health concerns like anxiety and depression. The list goes on. And if this plant-based approach or the diet that is filled with processed foods, high in sugar and low in fat was really working for us, then these numbers would be on the decrease, and unfortunately the opposite is happening. Many of the conditions that I just mentioned are so prevalent in today's society, and many more can be improved if not completely reversed by utilising this way of eating. I've had the pleasure of working with many clients who have dealt with all kinds of health concerns, from leaky gut to joint issues to CFS and ME to even cancer, and all of them have seen great success. So I want to encourage you to adopt this way of eating and ignore so much of the fear-mongering that is going on. But for now, I'm going to go and utilise these amazing cuts of meat. This is not a complicated way of eating either. It is extremely simple, which adds to the beauty of it. These two leg steaks I'm simply going to fry in the frying pan with good quality butter and season to taste with sea salt. And then this lovely shin joint is just going to be slow cooked over 24 hours, releasing all the amazing collagen, amino acids, glycine from this bone and marrow in the middle here, which is wonderful. I always talk about bone broth like it's liquid gold. Great for repairing any holes in the gut wall, or if any family member is starting to come down with a slight cough, cold, illness of any kind. Bone broth is just such a lovely elixir to adopt. So I'm going to go and enjoy these now. Thank you, Peter. And I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.
So no luck today, but it's been absolutely fabulous joining Frankie on her journey in becoming a trained hunter. But hopefully Frankie will have better luck in the weeks and months to come. Thanks for joining us. And viewers will be pleased to hear that Frankie did indeed get out a week later and finally harvested her first deer.